Well, let's speak now to our assistant political editor, Norman Smith, who's at Westminster. Norman.
Rebecca, thanks very much. Well, I think many people at Westminster were taken by surprise by the Governor's remarks. I think the expectation was that Mr Carney would tread a fairly careful path on the one hand, and on the other hand, instead, he seems to have signalled pretty clearly that he thinks the arguments are in favour, at least economically, of remaining inside the EU. Well, joining me is the Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg. We saw him in that report there challenging Mr Carney. I mean, were you surprised by the tone of Mr Carney's comments?
What really surprises me is that the Governor of the Bank of England has been making assertions and speculations rather than sticking to facts. In the letter he has sent to the Treasury Select Committee, he talks about the EU contributing to the dynamism of the British economy. This is a party political opinion. This is not a fact. Many people would argue the precise reverse, that it's the dead hand of the EU that has stopped our economy doing better. And it is improper for the Governor of the Bank of England, with all the authority of the bank behind him, to make speculative party political points. He needs to stick to the facts and what the true role of the bank is.
But why is it improper if, as the Governor of the Bank of England, that's what he thinks? He believes that actually we are better in the EU.
Dr. Mark Carney is entitled to his personal opinion on whether we're good or bad in the EU, and as a Canadian citizen he's entitled to vote in British elections. As the Governor of the Bank of England, he has a responsibility to the institution to be impartial, a much greater one than John Longworth had to the British Chambers of Commerce. And if you think that one man who is set out is fired, and a man in a much more important position where impartiality is expected has given a strong pro-European position, there does seem to be a dichotomy between the two.
But let's be clear, are you suggesting that there may now be questions about the Governor's position?
Not at this stage, but I think the Governor has exceeded what it is wise for a Governor of the Bank of England to say, and crucially, the authority of the Governor depends on his wisdom. It is the wisdom of the Governor, often expressed through his eyebrows, that is thought to be an important part of our regulatory system. And if he's not thought to be wise, but is thought to be party political, then his authority decreases.
How far do you think Mr Carney was expressing his own opinions, or do you take the view that there may have been some sort of pressure applied to him, maybe by the Treasury, by Downing Street, who knows?
Well, we know from what's happened with the British Chambers of Commerce that Downing Street is applying pressure wherever it may. And the Prime Minister said to the Sunday Post that he was sure that the Governor of the Bank of England would have something to say on this. It's very unusual for Prime Ministers to speculate about what Governors of the Bank of England may say. If you asked the Prime Minister what would the Governor say about bank rate, he would never ever give you a view, or on currencies. So if the Prime Minister to say he was sure does indicate a degree of collusion, but I would add that the Governor has denied this himself very firmly.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, thanks very much.